Hey, what's up? This is After Effects here. About a year ago now, gaming manufacturer Razer teased Project Hazel, an ultra-advanced face mask designed to provide people with a whole bunch of features over and above your regular version. Well, fast forward a year and the mad lads actually did it and released something not too dissimilar to that initial concept, known as the Razer Zephyr. These have been remarkably popular. There's been 6 drops, I think, so far, all of which have sold out immediately and ended straight up on eBay, etc., being resold at inflated prices. There's definitely a market for it. It certainly seems to have people excited, and that demands a closer look to see if it's really worth the hype. We're no stranger to covering masks on the channel, as well as technical clothing in a more general sense, and since this is a more technically advanced mask, I think it's worth taking a look at. We're going to really be focusing on 3 important areas. Number 1, what is the wearing experience like? The weight, the comfort, the security, how you breathe in it. Number 2, how does it look and how might it fit in to what you're wearing? We'll do some fun outfits with it as well. And number 3, how effective is this mask likely to be? We'll go some way towards answering all of those questions, and thank you to Razer who were able to send one of these over so I could do exactly that and to get some face-on experience with the Zephyr. So let's go. When you go to put this on, there are 2 straps to secure the Zephyr to your face. There's a top one which goes over the back of the head and a bottom one that goes over your neck. The straps themselves are relatively comfortable. They have these silicone sort of pads on which help distribute the weight of the mask fairly effectively, and the top one is adjustable as well, so you can tighten it up and help get that mask to have a better fit. This system saves your ears from too much pressure, which is definitely nice. Despite its bulky and sizable appearance, it is pretty quick and easy to put on though. In some respects the mask is comfortable, but it's definitely not perfect. The silicone face cup feels pretty nice against the skin. It's also surprisingly light, so it doesn't quite weigh me down in the way that I thought it might. However, it does only come in one size, and as someone that is both nasally and cranially gifted, I found that this was not the best fit on me. It puts quite a lot of pressure on the bridge of my nose to the point that after wearing it for an hour or so, it definitely feels like a bit of a relief getting to take it off again. Pro tip, putting the top strap higher up your head than you think you need to is definitely helpful for making it more comfortable, but in my opinion, the pressure is still kind of uneven there. It's also smaller than it looks around your face. The official instructions say to put this over your nose and chin, however, there is absolutely no way that is happening on me. The bottom of the face cup kind of sits on the top of my chin here, and especially when talking and moving my face around, that does sort of dislodge a little bit, so it doesn't provide a perfect seal around my face. This will definitely be more comfortable for people with smaller heads and rounder, flatter, or less structured noses than me. Also, by nature of this being larger, it does just take up a bit of your peripheral vision, and while you do get used to that, it certainly makes it more difficult to look vertically down at stuff. So if you've got some fresh new kicks on, you're going to find it more difficult to look at them, but even just going up escalators and sort of navigating public transport and things, it does definitely impact that. But hey, now you've got your epic gamer mask on, RGB shining, you're not going to have time to look down at your feet because we've got to test this out with some mobile gaming, and what could be better than the sponsor of this week's video, Raid Shadow Legends. There's over 600 champions in this game now, so you can guarantee at least one of them is going to have a cool techwear outfit, and you can download it by checking out the link in the description or scanning the fancy QR code. You could be taking on the brand new Hydra boss. There's 6 heads, every one of them does something different, so it's like 6 different boss fights in one. You got the head of Wrath, which gets a triple attack power buff if you hit it 15 times, so you want those single shot heavy hitter kind of dudes to deal with that one. But the head of Decay reduces your champion's max HP every time you heal them up, whilst using a life barrier that heals up other heads to full HP if you can't break it in time. So you probably want to kill that one first. You're definitely going to need that Razer Zephyr pumping purified air straight into your lungs. But for real, there's Pokemon style super effective mechanics in there, there's a whole bunch of different buffs and debuffs to get your head around, and there's a bunch of different ways that you can build out your squad, so there's quite a lot to think about from a mechanics perspective. Luckily, there's new stuff coming out all the time as well to help you, so right now there's a brand new champion which is based on esports legend Simple. All you got to do to get that one is log in for 7 days before January 28th. After that, it's gone forever, so you got to be quick. And since there's no This Is Antwon champion yet, I think he's the next best option. There's holiday-themed special events, tournaments, fusion events as well, so quite a few ways to give yourself a bit of a boost. Speaking of boosts, if you use my link in the description or the QR code, you get a whole bunch of them, including the epic champion Vergis, who's way better than the other ones that you start with because he's got a fat amount of HP. You get 200k silver, you get an energy refill, XP boost, and an ancient shard to summon some cool new dudes. It's right here after you log in and play through the 5-minute intro sequence, which genuinely made me laugh because it's pretty silly. You'll see what I mean if you play it. And that's valid from 30 days from this video releasing. And don't forget to add "This is Antwon" and join my clan because I'm going to need all the help I can get. Back to the Razer Zephyr, which you'll no doubt be wearing whilst playing for gamer style points. What about breathing in this? That's something many people find uncomfortable with cloth ones and that sort of stifling feeling. Well, having more space around the nose and mouth definitely does make a tangible difference here. The fans themselves have two settings. You've got high, which is pretty noticeable, and low, which is a less perceivable, sort of dull whirring in the background. Trying this on in the house, I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be pretty annoying, because not only is it a fairly whiny fan sound, especially on high, but it doesn't quite have a constant pitch. It sort of varies a little bit, which like prevents your brain from filtering it out. The good news is that any loud place, shops, public transport, walking around in the city, you won't hear that at all, making it far less of an issue. Maybe turn it off if you're in a library though, which you can do at any time thanks to the little button on the side. So will the ergonomics and wearing experience make you more likely to wear this versus a conventional option? It'll for sure depend on your face shape as to how comfortable this is and how much you're going to want to wear it for longer periods of time. For me, I certainly wouldn't be desperate to go out wearing this all day. It'll much better suit for me shorter excursions that are in sort of busier places where I would feel more comfortable having the extra protection that this would offer. I also found that being unable to stuff this in a pocket like a regular mask means that you have to think a bit more when you want to take it somewhere with you. You've either got to take a bag that you can put it in if you don't want to wear it, or you just have to kind of carry it around and look a bit awkward. But we're doing the Zephyr a disservice thinking on these function-only lines, because let's face it, if you're interested or considering something like this, you have at least some interest in the cyberpunk aesthetic that it presents, or at least in Razer's design language or the other products that they put out.
Oh, you think techwear was your eye? I was born in the techwear, molded by it. I didn't see Gore-Tex until I was a man, and then all it did was blind me.
If you're interested in their mice, keyboards, their other stuff, this is a more effective way of presenting that in public, I suppose, than just a t-shirt with a Razer logo on it. In some ways, they've done a good job of making the mask look quite cool. The similarity to a gas mask, but updated to a more sort of cyberpunk, futuristic version is quite clear, but at the same time, it doesn't go so far into this sort of over-engineered, really crazy costume-looking piece of clothing. It's just on that line of unusual looking, that guy's wearing a super advanced mask, but not quite Comic-Cons over there. It has the appearance, like much of Razer's gear, as premium, functional, but also with a bit of visual flair. In my opinion, its weakness visually, as far as the overall form goes, is the transparency of the mouth section here. This was a conscious decision so that you can more easily see the expression on the wearer's face and more easily understand them. I'm sure everyone now has had the experience of having someone else being absolutely impossible to understand through a mask. This does go some way towards alleviating that, although they removed a feature that they teased with the Project Hazel concept of having the wearer actually amplified externally, making their voice much clearer. That does make your voice through this sound noticeably echoey and a bit strange, and in fact I'll put this on now and do a few sentences with it and you can see what I mean.
Alright, mask on time. Hopefully you won't need subtitles. But anyway, this kind of lessens the anonymous, slightly edgy look that a mask like this would ordinarily have. It also seems to distort the wearer's face a little bit, kind of enlarges the mouth, which is not exactly the best look. I would have loved a blacked out or more heavily tinted version for the wannabe ninjas like me that would rather have that more anonymized look, but the lighting on the inside does go some way towards changing that. So you can see at the moment I've got the interior lighting on. You can turn that off as well, and that does make a little bit of a difference. I'll take this off now. Hopefully that gave you a good enough idea of the sound difference and also kind of what it looks like on when someone's actually talking a lot, because you can see that it does sort of move around a little bit. The interior lights have that function attached to them, but the exterior ones are all about style. The whole thing is controlled via Bluetooth and using an app, which from my experience actually worked perfectly. There's a couple of different effects in there. It is extremely easy to change between them and see the effects of what you're doing immediately. The UI is very minimal, very clear, and you can just get to doing exactly what it is that you're trying to do with the mask. I'm really grateful that they put this to a specific app rather than tying it to a massive Razer ecosystem where you have to scroll through loads and select your product or anything like that. The full RGB spectrum effects are definitely fun, but there's no getting around that they are quite obnoxious, not only because you can see those lights changing in the edge of your peripheral vision, but for everyone else looking at you as well. I mean, you're just kind of putting a little bit of a rainbow in your face. It's quite a lot to look at. I expect many people will take the same approach as PC RGB, and they will find a color that they like and they will set it to that, and then they will stick to it. And it does that job perfectly well. It means that you can match, say,
purple jacket to purple mask, or as I did on my little Nike trip, match the colour of the mask to the pocket on one of my jackets. Even doing that, yes, the lighting is going to look pretty extra, but you know what you're getting in for when you pick up something like this. You might as well make use of the fun lighting since it's there. But yes, if you want to, you can just turn it off. Either way, it goes without saying, this is a lot visually. People are going to look at you wearing this, and it's easy to feel self-conscious the first couple of times that you go out in public wearing it. I certainly did, and honestly it made me a little bit uncomfortable knowing that people were effectively staring at my discount Bane costume.
Yes, the fire rises.
However, the more you wear this, the more you will get used to it, especially if you genuinely like the way it looks. It will probably change in your mind a bit from like, all these people are staring at me, to, yeah, these people are checking out my cool mask. I wear enough unusual items of clothing that I have gone through that process before. That said, stylistically, this is certainly not a mask for everyone. Essentially, it is a fashion statement, whether you want it to be or not. It doesn't just look like a piece of elevated protective clothing, so it's going to work best if you're dressing in such a way that complements the futuristic, utilitarian style of this mask. If you're the kind of person that just likes their blue jeans, the retro t-shirt, pair of dad shoes or whatever, it's maybe going to look a bit out of place, and probably that feeling of discomfort or unease is going to be stronger. But if you've got those all black, technical, futuristic outfits on lock, then this is going to fit in much better. Now don't get me wrong, I'm 100% not saying, oh, you can only buy this mask if you dress in a certain way, but you will probably feel more comfortable if it has some level of synergy with the other things that you've got on. There's a reason why on the Razer website, every single model is wearing kind of similar all black clothing. The lighting and the aesthetics alone make this a pretty unique proposition from Razer. From a fashion perspective, there isn't really anything like this unless we're talking sort of cyber goth rave masks, and that's even before we approach the functionality aspect of this thing. The Zephyr actively pulls in air using two fans through proprietary N95 filters on each side. This is a US certification. That means it will block 95% of particles as small as 0.3 microns in size. That's one of the highest commercially available standards, and in a theoretical sense is a higher level of protection than a cloth mask or a surgical mask. It's genuinely a good thing that they've combined that N95 tech with active filtration that allows for more breathing space around the nose and mouth, particularly when some N95 filters that have valves that allow for easier breathing, well, those valves aren't filtered, which drastically reduces how effective that mask can be. However, I have to circle back to that point about this mask not actually fitting me 100% correctly. This does, especially when I'm talking, have some gaps down here at the bottom of the mouth where it doesn't provide a perfect seal. And of course, as soon as that is happening, you're going to have unfiltered air coming in and out of this mask. I can't test specifics, of course, but the N95 standard is based on a fitted mask, so potentially it doesn't meet that standard if the mask does have these gaps on it, and it will undoubtedly impact your level of protection. In a legal sense, this mask does comply with US and UK mask regulations, but it is worth mentioning that Razer described this as not a medical device or PPE. I imagine this is to cover themselves, but with the relatively non-adjustable fit, I don't think in its current form we'll be seeing hospitals full of RGB-powered surgeons. This is 100% one of those test products that introduces a lot of functionality and fun tech at once. It's certainly not the first time that Razer have done something like this. I think the overall package does what it sets out to do well enough that people who value being early adopters of this kind of tech will find something to like here. In the same way that there's a market for laptops with multiple screens and portable gaming monitors and controllers with paddles and stuff on the back, this kind of allows you to bring your enthusiasm for those kinds of products to the street. And you really will catch people's attention and make them interested with its looks and functionality. Even heading to the Nike store on that trip, I had people in the store asking me all about it and what it did and where I got it from. But I think this needs another version or two of improvements before I'd be recommending that your average mask wearer should be rushing out to buy one. A better or more adjustable fit to provide greater comfort and a better seal for different face types and shapes would go a long way here. And changes to the front as well, either making it very clear and removing that distortion so that people can very easily see your mouth and what you're saying, or going the opposite way and blacking out and really going more along the sort of cyberpunk edgy kind of look. And potentially being able to include that amplification feature to reduce that level of sort of echoiness and the weird sound that is characteristic of all masks to an extent, but yes, this one does still suffer from that. One thing that makes this differ to many experimental tech tech products though is its price. For $99 you're getting Bluetooth functionality, RGB LEDs, fans, N95 filtration, all wrapped up in a very eye-catching and relatively premium package. To me that feels surprisingly reasonable, and yes, if you're wearing this long term you do have to buy more of the little N95 filters because they are disposable by nature. But even so, there are regular cloth masks that are not much cheaper than this. To the people already dropping hundreds on new tech products just because they love gadgets and having the first version of something, $99 seems fairly easy to justify. I imagine it's those kinds of people that are going to get the greatest benefit from a mask like this at the moment. And they're probably the reason for the Zephyr's popularity, more so than people looking at this from a fashion perspective, or even a purely functional one. As a fan of more unusual and futuristic fashion, I can certainly see myself having fun with this as well, but I can't quite see it replacing my standard mask options, at least not yet. And that's my full look at the Razer Zephyr. Let me know what you guys think about it though. Do you think this is something that you could be incorporating in your outfits and wearing from a style perspective? Or do you think the functional side is much more what appeals, and perhaps future refinements that really nail the fit of that and allow that N95 functionality to work best are really going to be what sort of drives the progress of a product like this? Let me know what you think, and if you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like because that is massively appreciated, especially on content like this when, let's face it, we are doing things a little bit different to what we would normally cover, but I think it's still kind of fun anyway. And that's everything, so thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week with another video. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. If you want to catch some more, there's going to be links going up at the top, and if you haven't subscribed yet, then definitely consider doing so, because we've got new techwear stuff coming out every single week. We've got these Salomon shoes back here that we haven't talked about yet, so that's definitely going to be up soon. We've got some more cargo pants stuff as well. I've got some ideas in mind for some fun different things there, and who knows what else.